Ladies, let me tell you something right now. If you want to stay on a man's mind 24/7, you don't need magic. You need value, vision, and a vibe he can't shake. A man thinks about what impresses him, what inspires him, and what gives him peace. So the question is, are you unforgettable or are you just available? If you want to stay on a man's mind morning and night, you have to understand one thing: men are not just looking for beauty, they're looking for peace. Yeah, he might notice the curves, the smile, the style, but what he remembers long after is how you made him feel. And if every time he talks to you, he feels like he's walking into a battlefield instead of a blessing, trust me, you won't be the one on his mind. See, here's the truth about most men. We live in a world that demands a lot from us. From the moment we open our eyes in the morning, we're fighting. Fighting expectations, pressure, stress, failure, bills, goals. We're constantly carrying weight. So when we reach for a woman, we're not looking to add more to the load. We're looking for the one place we can finally set it down. You want to make him think of you every morning. Then be the voice that uplifts him before the world tries to tear him down. Be the one who reminds him of who he is when the world is trying to tell him who he ain't. That don't mean you got to be soft all the time. No, real peace ain't weak. Real peace is powerful. It's the calm and the chaos. It's the woman who knows when to speak and when to just be. Sometimes your presence can say more than your words ever could. Let me break it down even further. Some women wonder why a man keeps going silent on them, why he's pulling back. And you think, I must not be enough. But it's not always about you not being enough. It's about you being too loud in a moment when he needed quiet. Every disagreement doesn't turn into a debate. Every mistake doesn't have to turn into a meltdown. Sometimes he just needs your patience. Sometimes he needs to sit in silence next to a woman who's not judging him or trying to fix him, but just being there. When a man feels safe with you mentally and emotionally, that's when you become unforgettable. That's when he starts thinking about you in the middle of the day, wondering how you're doing. That's when your name sits on his heart like a favorite song he can't stop humming. But when every conversation is a complaint, when every moment turns into drama eventually, he starts to dread your energy instead of crave it. And you don't want that. You want to be the one he can't wait to talk to, not the one he avoids until he has no choice. I'm not saying don't express yourself. I'm not saying let him walk all over you. What I am saying is learn the power of your peace. Learn the value of restraint. Learn when to say something and when to just hold his hand and let him breathe. Because trust me, if a man finds a woman who gives him peace in the middle of his storm, he'll never forget her. He'll protect her, respect her, and he'll think of her constantly. You want to be on his mind morning, night. Then stop trying to be perfect and start being present. Start being soft where the world is hard. Start being understanding where the world is cold. Because if he finds warmth with you, he won't need to search anywhere else. Real peace, that deep, spiritual kind of peace, is rare in this world. And when a man finds it in a woman, he locks in. He might not always say it, but he knows. She's different. She's not like the rest. She's my peace. And once he knows that, once he feels that, he will think about you not because you're chasing him, not because you're texting him every hour, but because your presence is his sanctuary. That's how you make him think of you. That's how you stay on his mind. Let me tell you something that'll change the way you approach relationships. A man will never truly value what he can get too easily. That's not just talk, that's the truth. See, you can be available all day, texting back in seconds, dropping everything to see him, giving all your time, energy, and attention. But if there's no value behind that availability, you'll be remembered as convenience, not as a queen. Let me break this down real simple. A woman of value doesn't chase, she attracts. She knows who she is, what she stands for, and what she brings to the table. And because of that, she doesn't give herself away for free, mentally, emotionally, or physically. She knows her worth, so she doesn't need to beg a man to notice her. He sees it because it shines in how she carries herself. Now, don't get me wrong. Being there for someone is beautiful. Being supportive, consistent, loyal, that's important. But if you're doing all of that before a man has earned his place in your life, then you're just giving him the reward without requiring the work. And trust me, anything a man gets too easily, he usually doesn't respect. Not because he's mean or careless, but because men are wired to pursue, to work to win something of value. It's how we're built. Think about this. If you walk into a store and they hand you a diamond and say, "Here, it's free," you're going to assume it's fake. But if they keep that diamond in a lock case under lights with a price tag that makes you pause, that's when you start respecting it. That's when you treat it with care. And that's how men treat women. Not like objects, but like value. We respect what cost us something. You want to be unforgettable. Then stop being so easily reachable that a man doesn't have to lift a finger to find you. Let him miss you sometimes. Let him wonder what you're doing, where your mind is, what your dreams are. Keeps him missing. But don't be predictable. Because if every time he calls you pick up on the first ring, if every time he's bored you entertain him, then you become his option, not his priority. But when you live a full life, when you're busy with your goals, your passions, your purpose, then your time becomes precious. And guess what? The more valuable your time is, the more seriously he'll take it, the more seriously he takes you. Men remember women who challenge them to grow, women who have standards, women who don't fold just because he's handsome or charming or says the right thing at the right time. If all it takes is a couple of sweet words for him to get all of you, then you've handed him a prize he didn't even have to fight for. But if he has to earn your heart, if he has to prove that he's consistent, respectful, and intentional, then you become the kind of woman he can't stop thinking about. So don't make your goal to always be to be valuable, because availability might get his attention, but value keeps his respect. And once you have that respect, once he knows you are a woman who brings depth, substance, strength, and grace, then you won't have to chase him. He'll be thinking about you all day long. Noon night. Confidence is the secret sauce. It's that thing you can't always explain, but you feel it when it walks into the room. It turns heads, shifts energy, demands respect. And let me tell you, a confident woman is unforgettable. She's not the loudest. She's not the one good enough. She's not the one who knows exactly who she is, what she brings, and she ain't waiting on a man to validate her. Confidence is magnetic. A man can meet 1,000 women, but that one woman who walks with assurance, who talks with purpose, who stands in her truth, she's the one that stays on his mind. And not just because she looks good, but because she feels good to be around. You can't fake that. That's not something makeup, heels, or filters can give you. That comes from knowing your worth deep down in your bones. You want a man to think about you morning, noon, and night. Then let him meet the real you, the woman who doesn't shrink herself for anyone. The woman who knows she's enough, whether she's in sweats or stilettos. Confidence doesn't mean arrogance. It doesn't mean walking around like you're better than anybody. It means walking like you don't need to compare yourself to anybody. See, when a woman is confident, she doesn't chase. She chooses. She's not desperate for attention because she already knows she's deserving of love. And when she loves herself, a man feels it. You notice how she carries herself, how she speaks, how she doesn't tolerate nonsense, but still remains kind, still remains open, still remains real. That's a rare mix, and men notice it. Trust me. Now here's the truth. Insecure women get attention, but confident women get respect. And there's a difference. A man might flirt with 10 women a day, but the one who looks him in the eye holds her ground and knows she don't have to do anything to him. That's the one he keeps thinking about. That's the one he brags about to his boys. That's the one he can't shake out of his system. You ever see a woman who ain't the prettiest in the room, but somehow everybody gravitates toward her? That's confidence. That's energy. That's no have to fit into nobody's box. She made her own lane and she's walking it with pride. Men respect that. Real men are drawn to it. Because deep down, every man wants a woman who believes in herself. Why? Because if she believes in herself, she can believe in him too. If she carries herself with pride, he knows she'll lift him with that same pride. Confidence is also about boundaries. A confident woman knows what she will and won't tolerate. She's not afraid to walk away if something doesn't serve her peace. And let me tell you, that kind of woman keeps a man up at night. Not because she's playing games, but because she's not playing with her standards. She's not afraid to be alone because she'd rather wait for right than settle for right now. If a man knows that you love yourself, that you take care of your mind, your body, your soul, he'll see that you don't need him, you want him. And that difference right there, that's powerful. Needing someone at pressure, wanting someone as choice. And nothing turns a man on more than being chosen by a woman who didn't need to, but did because she saw something valuable in him. You don't have to announce your confidence either. It's in how you walk in a room. It's in how you say no without apologizing. It's in how you own your flaws, your past, your story. It's in how you speak with kindness, but don't let anyone cross your line. That's confidence. And that kind of woman, she'll stay on a man's mind long after the conversations have ended. So stop trying to compete. Stop trying to be what you think he wants. Start being you, the healed, happy, whole version of yourself. Because when you walk in your truth, the right man won't just think of you in passing. He'll be thinking about how to keep you. He'll be thinking about you morning, noon, and night. Let me break something down for you real quick, because this right here is a game changer. If you really want to stay on a man's mind, not just for a moment, but all day, every day, you got to feed his spigo. Anybody can stroke a man's ego. That's easy. Just tell him he's fine. Tell him he's strong. Tell him he's the man. And he'll smile, sure. But when the conversation's over, that feeling fades. That's surface level. But when you speak to a man's spirit, when you pour into who he is, where he's going, what he's trying to build, now you've touched something deeper. Now you've reached the part of him most people don't even see. And trust me, that's the part of him he won't forget. That's the part that makes him think about you first thing in the morning and last thing at night. See, men walk around wearing armor all day long. We're taught to be tough, to push through, to hide our feelings, to numb and show weakness. But underneath that armor, there's a soul, there's a dreamer. There's a little boy who still wants to be seen, still wants to be believed in. And when a woman sees that version of him and says, I believe in you, I see greatness in you, I know what you're capable of, man, that hits diff with him. Now, I am saying don't ever compliment him. A man loves hearing that you find him attractive, that he's doing something right. But if all you ever give him is surface praise, you're missing the chance to build a deeper connection, a real one that goes beyond looks and money and status. Because let me tell you something, when life gets hard, and it will get hard, he's not going to need someone who just thinks he's sexy. He's going to need someone who can remind him of his purpose. You feed a man's spirit by asking the questions no one else asks. How are you really doing? What's that thing you're struggling with right now? What's that dream you gave up on that you still think about sometimes? When you create space for him to open up without judgment, when you encourage him to be vulnerable without making him feel weak, that's when the connection grows. That's when you stop being talked to and start being someone he leans on. A man remembers the woman who makes him feel safe, not just physically, but emotionally, spiritually. He remembers the one who helps him keep going when he wants to quit, the one who reminds him of his why, the one who believes in his vision even when the world doesn't. That woman, she's irreplaceable. He'll think about her while he's grinding. He'll think about her when he's winning. He'll think about her when he's down and trying to get back up. So don't just chase the title of girlfriend or wife. Aim to be his partner, his peace, his inspiration. Don't feed just what the world sees. Feed what only you get to see. That's the real treasure. That's how you stay on his mind. You want to be unforgettable. Then feed the part of him that no one else even bothers to reach. Love the man, uplift the soul, and support the vision. Because once you've touched a man's spirit, once you've poured into his purpose, there's no way he's ever forgetting you. He'll carry you with him morning, noon, and night.